Hey, what's up everybody? Today I am going to be showing you how to access the ground strap on a 2015 Fiat 500c. These cars are notorious for ground strap issues. Once you have the car on a flat level location with the parking brake engaged, go ahead and disconnect the negative terminal from your car battery. Once you've got that done, and you can see I've wrapped the end in a shop towel just to prevent any accidental metal contact while I'm working, there is a little piece of plastic in front of the battery that keeps you from getting it out. You don't have to take this off completely, you can just loosen it. Once it's loosened, you can go ahead and slide that plastic holder back, which will free up the battery. Next, we're going to disconnect the positive terminal on the battery. Again, once that's done, I'm going to wrap the ends in a shop towel just to prevent any accidental metal contact while I'm working. And there is one more cable that goes from that negative harness to the silver box behind the battery, which is the ECU, or engine control unit. Once you disconnect that, I like to put the nut right back on the bolt that it came off of so I don't lose it. You are now free to pull the battery out of the battery tray. Once you've exposed the battery tray, it is connected in several ways. We're going to take off the two bolts on the right-hand side and the nut in the center cavity first. Once you've got those bolts and that nut out of the way, go ahead and put them somewhere safe so you don't lose them. Once those are removed, there are still several connection points where the wires are attached to the battery tray, and we will need to take all of those out in order to remove the tray. In addition to where all those connectors are, we will need to remove the connections at the top of the ECU as well. These little pry tools are really cheap, so I recommend you pick one up. It makes this process a little bit easier, a little less painful on your fingers. Can get them out with your hands, but definitely tougher. This one on the back is pretty tough too. When you're doing this, be really careful not to pull on the wires. You don't want to stretch or damage the wires inside the harnesses. Now we're going to disconnect the connections to the ECU at the top. You're going to slide that yellow pin forward, which will free up that black tab there that pulls forward. And that'll disconnect the pin connector. Again, just like the battery terminals, I do like to wrap these up in clean shop towels just to make sure I'm not getting any extra dirt in there unnecessarily. And you will need to do that on both sides. You do want to be really careful with these connectors to make sure you're not bending or damaging any pins or getting any extra dirt in there that can cause you connection problems. Once you've got the ECU connections at the top, there's this one little connection on the bottom left-hand side if you're facing the front of the car. I pull that one out with my hand because it's too tight to get a tool in there. And then along the back side of the tray underneath the ECU, there's a couple little brackets that hold in a wire. So you're going to just pop that wire out. And then there's one last one on the side closest to the engine that holds another wire. You're going to go ahead and pop that out, and that will let you remove the battery tray. Once the battery tray is out, there is one last nut that we need to remove that'll remove this black bracket holding those wires. That's that last thing blocking access to the ground wire. So that copper cable that you see on the left-hand side, that's the ground. That's what we're trying to get to. To get this nut out, I used an extender on my socket wrench because it's a little tight in there. Find the way that works best for you. That's what worked for me. As soon as it's loose enough to undo with your hands, that is a much faster way to finish it off. And once you've got that bolt out, put it somewhere safe, and you can go ahead and move the wires in that black holder out of the way. And that is it. There is the ground strap that we now have access to. I've already replaced mine, so I'll show you how to do that in another video. Thanks for watching, everybody.